Dhaka is the capital city of the country of Bangladesh. It's a deltaic country, so most of the country sits on the delta of the Ganges and the Brahmaputra river deltas. So consequently, it's very low-lying. The landscape tends to be fairly rapidly changing. The population of Bangladesh is anywhere between 150 million to 185 million. In the West, we have a perception of what Bangladesh is like as a really impoverished country. I can remember when I was in school, seeing images of Dhaka, it must have been, underwater. And this classic image of people walking around in this large metropolis with their bags over their heads and sort of navigating a flooded urban center. That was back in the 1980s. And the impression that images like that give us in the West is that Bangladesh is a very poor country, incomes are very low, that there's very little in the way of work. In fact, Dhaka and Bangladesh more generally is an extremely vibrant country. The economy is booming. If you go into central Dhaka, you'll find a highly developed urban center with skyscrapers. The reason that people are arriving in Dhaka is primarily around employment. Labor migration is a really important element in the reason why people move from rural Bangladesh into the city. They look upon urban life as offering a host of different economic opportunities. It's a way for a rural family to supplement their income by sending some of their kids into the city for temporary work, to work in either the garment sector or to work pulling a rickshaw or to work in manual labor of some sort, and then remitting that money back to their home communities. It's very common. One of the standard narratives that you get in Bangladesh is that rural to urban migrants are being driven largely by environmental changes in the rural landscape. So a lot of the rural economy it's riverine, it's based along rivers. It being a deltaic country, there's quite a bit of erosion along the riverbanks. So it's not unheard of for people's land to just wash away in a flood, for example. So one of the sites that we're studying is called the Bola slum and is the result of rural to urban migration from the early 1970s around the time of the Bola cyclone. The relationship between climate change and human mobility in the global south is a very topical one, whereas the dominant political and media narrative is that under conditions of climate change, more and more people will be migrating, and more than likely from areas of vulnerability into cities, where they will then become trapped.
Climate is one reason why people move, but it's also possibly one reason why they can't move. They lose their assets, their property. It reduces migration. And you might say that the process of migrating can be beneficial to you being able to be more resilient to climate change.